You reach for your phone without thinking. Check social media during every quiet moment. Grab the same snack when you feel stressed. Light a cigarette after meals. Bite your nails when you are anxious. Your brain learns this sequence and begins automating it to save mental energy. What starts as a conscious choice becomes an unconscious response. The scary part is how quickly this happens. Researchers have found that habit loops can form in as little as a few repetitions, if the reward is strong enough. Your brain is constantly scanning for these environmental triggers. Once it detects a familiar cue, it automatically initiates the routine. But here's what most people misunderstand about rewards. They're not just about pleasure. They're about relieving tension, solving problems, or fulfilling psychological needs. The reward for checking your phone is not just entertainment. It is the relief of social anxiety, the satisfaction of staying connected, or the dopamine hit of new information. You feel lonely and immediately open a dating app or social media. The key is understanding that you can change the routine while keeping the same cue and reward. If you feel stressed and habitually reach for junk food, you can train yourself to reach for healthy food instead. If you want to stop mindlessly eating, remove trigger foods from easy reach. If you want to exercise more, lay out your workout clothes the night before. You recognize the craving that drove your hand to move. You understand the reward your brain is seeking. The question is not whether you have habits. Everyone does. The question is whether you will remain unconscious of the loops controlling your behavior or become the architect of new patterns that align with who you want to become. If you want to read instead of scrolling, keep books visible and phones out of sight. Your environment is constantly cueing behaviors. Design it to cue the behaviors you actually want. If you feel bored and automatically check social media, you can redirect that impulse toward reading or exercise. The cue and the need for reward remain the same, only the routine changes. You feel bored and instinctively look for entertainment. These emotional states become cues that trigger behavioral routines designed to change how you feel. The problem is that these routines often provide only temporary relief while creating longer-term problems. Your brain learns to crave these rewards and automatically seeks them out whenever the appropriate cue appears. They are those who understand how habit loops work and use that knowledge to build systems that support their goals. They recognize that every behavior is part of a larger pattern, and that changing the pattern is more effective than fighting individual impulses. You do not decide to reach for your phone when you feel bored. Are you eating because you are hungry or because you are anxious? Are you checking your phone because you want information or because you want to feel connected? Are you buying things because you need them or because you want the temporary mood boost? Once you understand what your brain actually wants, you can find healthier ways to provide that same reward. Your brain recognizes the cue of boredom and executes the programmed, responsive phone checking before your conscious mind even realizes what is happening. Your brain is constantly looking for ways to make your life more efficient, even when that efficiency works against your long-term interests. You sit in your car and immediately reach for your seatbelt. You lie in bed and your hand moves toward your phone. These locations have become cues that trigger specific routines. Your brain has learned to associate certain contexts with certain behaviors, making those behaviors feel inevitable in those settings. These actions happen so automatically that you barely notice them until after they are done. Your brain begins anticipating the reward as soon as it detects the cue. That flash of frustration is your brain experiencing the gap between expectation and reality. Watch what happens when you try to skip your usual morning coffee or afternoon snack. The discomfort you feel is not just physical. It is your brain protesting the interruption of an established pattern. This anticipation creates a psychological urge that feels like it needs to be satisfied. The stronger the habit, the stronger this anticipatory craving becomes. This is why breaking habits feels so uncomfortable. You are not just stopping a behavior. You are denying your brain something it has learned to expect and want. You tell yourself you will stop tomorrow, next week, next month, but tomorrow comes and your hand moves toward the phone again. Your brain has already decided for you. This is not a failure of willpower. This is a sophisticated neurological program running in the background of your consciousness, executing commands you never consciously gave. Every habit you have follows the same three-step pattern. A cue triggers the behavior. You perform the routine, you receive a reward. What you are about to discover will change how you see every automatic behavior in your life. Every action you take without thinking, Every pattern you cannot seem to break, despite your best intentions, because habits are not just behaviors. They are neurological pathways that become stronger every time you use them. Understanding how this loop works is the first step to taking back control of your automatic responses. Inside your brain, habits are stored in a region called the basal ganglia. This area specializes in automatic behaviors that do not require conscious thought. When you first learn something new, your prefrontal cortex is highly active, analyzing and deciding. But as the behavior becomes habitual, activity shifts to the basal ganglia. The behavior becomes so automatic that you can do it while thinking about something completely different. This is why you can drive home from work while your mind is elsewhere, or why you can find yourself scrolling social media without remembering picking up your phone. The cue is what triggers the entire sequence. It can be a time of day, an emotional state, a location, or the presence of certain people. Charles Duhigg's research on habit formation reveals that the reward is what makes the loop stick. But here is the most important insight about habit loops. The craving happens before the behavior, not after. This is happening to you constantly throughout your day. Notice how you feel when you reach for your phone and the battery is dead. Consider how your environment shapes your automatic behaviors. You walk into your kitchen and automatically open the refrigerator. Think about your emotional habits too. You feel stressed and automatically reach for food, alcohol, or your phone. But here's the reframe that changes everything. You cannot eliminate habit loops, but you can reprogram them. The most effective habit change happens when you identify the real reward your brain is seeking. Successful habit change also requires modifying your environment to support new routines. The strongest people are not those who rely on willpower to override their habits. So here you are, reaching for your phone again, but now you understand what is really happening. You see the cue that triggered the behavior.